How's it going, ISL channel? Frieslander here, and today on this beautiful Sunday, me and my special guest, we actually wanted Hayden at first, but he's not on because it's still quite early for the Americans. So we have an, yeah, wow, indeed. So we have another, actually a British guest here. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Hey guys, Blazehand here, and I am the guest for the ISL channel. What is it? The finals?
It's the finals, man.
For the ISL Season 3.
Yeah. Blaze is my co-host. We are co-commentating the ISL Season 3 finals between Burke and the New England Patrats versus Cornet and the Death Starmies. I was gonna say New Orleans Pidgeys, but that was the semi-finals. Don't mind me.
And I got wrecked.
You got wrecked, yep. So yeah, the finals of this season, actually a pretty... I think some people expected Burke to reach the finals because he had a pretty good regular season. He went 9-3 throughout the regular season. They got the forfeit win in the quarterfinals and then took out you, I think 3-0, didn't he, Blaze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3-0.
And Cornet is the new guy, in the trailer, the new kid on the block. First season in the ISL, straight making his finals. Actually went 7-5 throughout the regular season, which is not insane, of course. Still good enough, of course, to make playoffs and in the end the finals. So yeah, let's just start by introducing both teams. Let's start with Burke and the New England Patrats. They have a possibility of these following 11 months. And number 1 we have Infernape. Number 2 we have Thunderstarian, actually the Pokemon that got the most kills in Burke's team. It got 11 kills and died 4 times. It got top 10 in the MVP race, I'm pretty sure. Then the third Pokemon is going to be Gengar. Number 4 is Blastoise. Number 5 is Metagross. Number 6 is Crocodile. Number 7 is Acelgor. Number 8 is Hexorus. Number 9 is Cradily. Number 10 is Sigilyph, or Siligif, as Burke likes to call it. And then at number 11 we had the upset, or kind of the surprise mega pick in the draft, in my opinion. Mega Audino, who did a lot of work throughout the regular season. Blaze, why don't you go ahead and introduce us to Cornet's team?
So in the Death Starmies, we've got Raikou, one of his most used Pokemon. It's got 11 games played out of 12. And then his next one is Breloom, Umbreon, Fortress, Drapion, Quagsire, Bravery, Azumarill, Reuniclus, and Joran. And obviously his Mega of choice, which was Mega Charizard X. Very powerful Dragon Dancer. And
as we saw in the semi-finals as well. Of course, Mega Charizard X currently is the leader of the MVP race of the playoffs. Did pretty good as well throughout the regular season. Got 11 kills in total. Died 10 times though. In his every game Mega Charizard was brought, it died. So it's not even the highest scoring mon on the Death Starmies team. That was Azumarill and got like 12 kills. But of course, in playoffs, it's currently sitting at 5-1. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Very powerful mons in the Death Starmies team.
Yeah, I think both teams are really strong drafted. I can talk a little bit about Cornet's team because I played Cornet actually. Did you play Cornet actually? No, you didn't. You just told me.
No, I never played. Go on.
The thing about Cornet's team, what's really good, is that for some reason when you build against him, all his typings are so diverse that you have to bring a lot of coverage on your team to take down his team. For example, he has the 2 Bug Steel types that make sure you have to run either HP Fire or Flamethrower on every Pokemon. But then most of his roster actually resists the Fire type moves. Charizard can eat it up. Reuniclus can eat it up pretty easily with an Assault Vest or even a bulky defensive set. Azumarill takes Fire type moves pretty good. Of course, Quagsire takes them. Umbreon can tank pretty much everything with its insane stats, of course. So that's the main issue. At least I had when building for Cornet, that his team is so diverse due to all his typings that you have to bring a lot of coverage for his team to make a good team against Cornet, and that's probably the issue Burke had as well. Of course, Burke and Cornet actually played this season once. It was a pretty good win for Burke. I can find out real quick what the score was. It actually was a 4-0 victory for Cornet, or for Burke, where the Gengar actually picked up 3 kills throughout the end. Blaze, why don't you tell us something about Burke's team and what are your opinions on that? Blaze, are you still here? Is he gone?
Yeah, sorry, I've got some issues.
Okay, but can you talk about Burke's team or should I?
Can you talk about it, please?
Okay. Well, of course, when you look at Burke's team, of course, at the top he has the biggest threats on his team, the big 3 offensive threats, which are Infernape, Thunderstarian and Gengar. But there's also one threat you can't underestimate, and that is the Crocodile. Both the Crocodile and the Metagross actually did a lot of work, although they were like later on in the draft. Especially Scarf Crocodile has been working out pretty good for Burke. He picked up 3 kills in the semifinals, making it the number 2 seed, or the number 2 spot in the MVP race for the playoffs. So even though Infernape, Thunderstarian and Gengar look really scary, you shouldn't underestimate Metagross and Crocodile as offensive threats as well. Of course, he still has Haxorus in the back, but that got brought 1 game, and it didn't even enter the field in that game, so you can say it was never brought. Of course, we might expect some upsets, or not upsets, some changes in the teams, what they might bring. Like Burke is known to run like the 7-man squad with Infernape, Thundurus, Gengar, Blastoise, Metagross, Crocodile, Mega Audino. He hasn't brought Excelgor. He brought Excelgor 3 times, Haxorus once, Credilli once, and Sigilyph 2 times. In all those games, those mons have a combined record of 2 kills and 6 deaths, so they didn't do too great. So that's probably the main reason why Burke isn't really keen on using those mons, and that's why at least I am expecting Burke to bring probably a team around this 7-man squad. Although Cradilly does pretty good against Mega Charizard X. DD Haxorus actually does a lot of work against Cornet's team as well. Excelgor is there to take down threats like Reuniclus, and yeah, Mega Audino of course is something.
Even some of those less powerful things that you told us about though, like the Metagross and the Haxorus, that he hasn't used them so well. He's been using them very well in the playoffs, and I assume he could bring anything on his team.
Yeah,
but this final match.
I do know that Burke is not really keen on using the Haxorus and the Sigilyph currently on this team, because he doesn't really need to bring the Cradilly when you have stuff like AV Metagross, defensive Blastoise, and then like mixed Audino. You have a really solid wall core that kind of works around its own resist as well, because of course Mega Audino only has 2 weaknesses, both of which get covered by Metagross of course.
Yep.
The only thing that might become an issue for Burke is like the Earthquake spam. In my opinion, that's something Burke is kind of weak to. Of course, Infernape gets hit super effective. He does have 2 flyers, so he has 2 immunities to Earthquake, but it's not like they are the best mons to bring in on ground types, because most ground types do carry a rock move sometimes.
Yep.
We haven't really talked about Cornet's team. Like, what do you think Cornet might bring this week or this final?
I think he has a high chance of bringing in some of the ones which he's brought a lot, like Azumarill, Charizard X, and Raikou. But at the same time, he might not bring them because he wants to catch out Burke and make him want to bring moves to hit those things super effectively.
Yeah. It's really a prediction game, of course, every team building session. Like, what do you expect people to bring? Because, of course, this kind of a thing Burke does. His team building, in a sense, is kind of predictable because he tends to bring the stuff that works against your team. Most people try to anticipate it, but then in the end still fail because, like, meta is Bay, as Burke actually told me once. He did it versus me, I got 5-0, so yeah, whatever. That's from the past. Let's focus on this game.
So, the fact that both of these players have such a diverse roster and they can use any mon on their team is hard for the other person to team build around, because they have so many threats and they also have so many walls that can like shut down the other player's team.
Yeah, like for example, certain stuff that Cornet hasn't brought a lot, like Breloom, Braviary, Drapion, and Quagsire, both 4 times. It's not like they are bad Pokemon. Like Spore Breloom is a live orb. It's like, that's pretty strong, let's be honest. Drapion, I don't really know what to think of Drapion per se. Quagsire is something, if you have Quagsire on your roster, people have to make sure they have something to do when the opponent actually brings Quagsire, and that's the issue that people have when team building for Cornet. You have to bring a grass move to hit the Quagsire, but then both the Steel Bug types can easily switch in. Charizard can easily switch in. Raikou can easily switch in. Reuniclus can easily switch in on those grass type moves. If it's a pure grass type, even Braviary can switch in.
Yep, you can't bring HP Fire and HP Grass, so you need one or the other, and then the other one will wall you.
You just need the coverage. Like, having Pokemons with quad weaknesses can become an issue, but if it is their only weaknesses, like you have with the Bug Steel types and the the Water Ground types, they only have one weakness, and those are quad effectives. So people tend to bring HPs or hidden powers to tackle those mons. But if you have two of them, you have to make a decision, and that's pretty difficult most of the time. And Burke's also known to bring hidden power ground on his Thunderous. He actually did that last time to catch out the Charizard X. But then, if you do that, the Fortress, the Durant, the Quagsire can become an issue for Pokemons like Thundurus. Of course, Infernape gets coverage to kill both of them. He does get, it gets Grass Knot. Even uninvested, Grass Knot actually kills a Quagsire, so that's pretty good to have. In my opinion, Infernape is the biggest threat on the New England side.
Yeah, I have to agree totally with that. Unfortunately, though, he can't actually get a ground-type move on Infernape, so he doesn't really have a great move to hit Raikou and Charizard, but he can still pack a punch with Flare Blitz and Close Combat.
Like, Close Combat and Flare Blitz are really tough move to switch in. Like, Water types can switch in, but they don't really appreciate a Close Combat, let's be honest. It's not like, oh, I'm a Quagsire, I'm gonna switch in on your Close Combat. No, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You
it still does about 40%.
Yeah, it's like Life Orb Infernape or Bandit Infernape is just really scary. Scarf Infernape can clean up really well. Like, Burke has really good Scarf late game mons. Like Thundurus, Gengar, and Infernape and Crocodile, all of those mons can do pretty much the same job. He can just decide which one he is going to bring to clean up late game, and then he just plays around that. At least that's what I feel. He plays around certain. He makes a win condition, then builds around that, and goes straight into the game with a plan to make those mon clean up the game, like he did with Crocodile versus you.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think. Yeah.
He's really good at preserving his win conditions and then using them at the end of the game to sweep up.
He's really good at that. And also, Burke is also a player. When you play against him, you have to predict. Of course, every game you have to make some predictions, but in some situations, Burke doesn't make predictions. And then it pays out good for him. Then he makes a prediction that also pays out good for him. So he's really good at predicting as well. And I think that was an issue with him last season. Sometimes he predicted and made a risky prediction. For example, I played him, and then he had a Latios with Energy Ball and Thunderbolt. Then he expected my Rotom to come in because I made a Rotom set to wall the Latios. He went for Thunderbolt on my Quagsire, so of course then Quagsire won't hit you, and then the Quagsire actually killed off the Latios. So he got a lot better at making predictions in certain situations and playing a little bit safer in a sense, because you don't see him making those predictions anymore. The predictions he makes are really safe, and if they fail, he still has a backup plan. So here we are, guys. We have the link currently. Let's head into the battle. The teams are still loading for me. Okay, so we see on Burke's side, we see Blastoise, Thundurus, Therian, Crocodile, Metagross, Mega Audino, and Infernape. And then on Cornet's side, we see Mega Charizard X, Umbreon, Braviary, actually, Azumarill, Fortress, and Breloom. So we actually brought Braviary and Breloom. It's of course a pretty that's pretty surprising that he brings two mons that have combined 4 games in the regular season. So he leads Thundurus and then he goes into the Breloom. I think it's a pretty safe play for Burke to actually go for the Volt Switch to gain momentum. Let's see what he does. Of course, there might be a chance that Burke is expecting a Focus Sash Breloom Leaf with Spore, of course. And then it's the thing, does this Mega Audino have Heal Bell or not? What do you think will happen, Blaze? Let's be honest. I'm expecting a Volt Switch.
Volt Switch would be a good play, but I think that Burke's just going to go for the safe HP flying. But then he gets bored, so I don't really know. But
yeah,
if
this Breloom is Sash Spore, then this Thundurus gets Spored, and I think this Thundurus actually dies to a Rock Tomb, or 2 Rock Tombs at least. I think Breloom does get enough speed to outspeed a Thundurus after 1 Rock Tomb, because of course Rock Tombs lowers his speed, and then he is able to outspeed the Thundurus. He actually switches out immediately, and Breloom goes for a substitute. Okay, that's pretty interesting.
That's a good play. Okay, so Breloom could go for a Focus Punch right now. So Focus Punch would be an unusual set in the finals, but it's completely possible. I I think Burke's probably just going to go for a bullet punch to break the sub, or maybe a meteor mash. Oh, but
he might go for Zen Headbutt. I think his main objective is to break the substitute. He goes for hidden power, so that's hidden. Is this a special Metagross with HP flying? Is that a thing?
I think that was HP fire.
For
the Fortress.
Oh yeah, that actually makes sense. HP fire as well. He might have predicted the Fortress.
Yeah.
I think a good play for Cornet is either to switch out, obviously. I think his best switch is most likely the Umbreon. Burke might predict that and then go out into the Infernape himself, because Infernape does pretty good versus Umbreon. Another play to make is probably the Charizard. Because Charizard,
yeah, I was thinking that.
Charizard can also take a hit from the Infernape. Yeah, he goes into the Charizard, and Metagross go for Stealth Rocks. So what's most likely to happen right now? I think the Audino will come in, or the Blastoise.
I think the Flare Blitz is a pretty good play on Corn's side, because it hits everything on Burke's team very hard, apart from maybe a defensive Crocodile. But
I think it still does quite a lot, let's be honest. It's
I think
boosted based on any stat. Cornet definitely has to stay in, because if he switches out, then he takes 50% upon entry from the Stealth Rocks. So that actually makes it pretty likely for Cornet to stay in. You can go for a free Flare Blitz. I think it hurts pretty much everything. I think the Audino will kind of tank it relatively well, but still doesn't appreciate being set up upon. Unless this Audino has Encore again, of course. Then.
So, say Corn does have Swords Dance. What would you think of a Swords Dance play right now?
A Swords Dance? That would be pretty interesting. If he has Swords Dance, that would be pretty good. Like the Swords Dance Flame Charge set. Because I don't think Cornet needs... He only needs fire coverage for the Audino. Because the Dragon Claw hits everything on Burke's team harder.
So we do see a defensive Crocodile. I did mention it, but I honestly didn't think he was going to bring it.
Yeah, this could be Intimidate Scarf as well. He goes for a Dragon Dance, actually. I'm really debating on what Cornet is going to do. He might switch out, not use this Mega Charizard at +1. Of course, it's even on attack, but +1 on speed. So it outspeeds pretty much everything on Burke's team, unless he has a Scarf Thunderous or a Scarf Infernape. I don't know what will happen. Like, Charizard doesn't appreciate a... So this is a defensive Crocodile, and the Mega Charizard goes down to a crit Earthquake. Though I don't think the crit mattered, but it did do a large chunk to the Crocodile. Of course, the most likely play, I think, is to go out into the Azumarill. Burke has to be really careful with switching in the Crocodile, because of course his Braviary gets Defiant. So
say he does go into Azumarill. Do you predict the Waterfall? Or just do you think he's going to go for the Aqua Jet?
We of course have to see what this Azumarill is. If he goes for the Aqua Jet, that makes a lot of sense, because it hurts pretty much everything. If he is Belly Drum set, then going for Belly Drum seems fair, of course. I think an option is also to go for Play Rough, since it hurts the Blastoise and the Audino harder when they come in. Of course, you do have the chance to miss.
Yeah.
But it's just like, what set is this Azu? If it's Banded set, I think the best play is to go for Play Rough. If he is Belly Drum, I think the best play is to go for Aqua Jet. Not reveal Belly Drum yet. Because last time Burke had a counter to Belly Drum Azumarill, and that was Haze Blastoise. So actually this moves Charizard up to 5-2 and Crocodile to 4-0 in the MVP race as well. So if Crocodile gets one more kill, it will become the MVP of the playoffs.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I didn't do the calcs, but I think this was a defensive, or at least HP invested Crocodile. I can do the calcs really quick. Let's see what it actually was, because of course we have time, because Cornet is making some calcs, deciding what to do. I think this Crocodile was... I'm pretty sure this was...
So it did 82%.
Yep, so Mega Charizard X. Let's just say that it was Adamant, and then at... yeah, they should have actually killed a Scarf Crocodile, so this Crocodile definitely was defensive. So he goes out into the Azumarill as we predicted. I don't think the Crocodile can do anything against Azu. So he goes out into the Blastoise, and he went for the Play Rough. That actually does a lot of damage. It actually 2-hit KOs the Blastoise. This is a Choice Banded Azu. player off shouldn't do that much. He can go for another player off easily. And then damage everything that comes
in. So
in.
the Metagross is a definite switch in right now.
Metagross is really likely. Metagross can become a really big issue for Cornet. A pretty good switch in for Metagross is of course the Umbreon, but Burke might predict it. And then go out.
Do you think Cornet should predict the switch right now? And go into something else to deal with the...
I think that's a pretty safe play. He actually misses the player of any incoming Metagross. I don't know if that would have done a lot, but I think that's still kind of big. So this Azu is forced out, of course, by the Metagross, because this thing is locked into what's it called?
Okay, so he goes into Umbreon.
Yeah. So
obviously the Synchronize won't affect.
And now we have to see what... do you think Burke will swap into the Infernape? Because he tends to do that quite a lot. Go into the Infernape. In comes the Infernape, and he goes for a Charm! Charm Umbreon, dropping the attack from the Infernape by 2 stages. I have never seen that move. Goes for U-turn, does 20%. See what he does.
Wish or Heal Bell?
He goes for Wish.
Yeah, he just goes for the Wish. And now he's probably going to go for the Heal Bell.
I don't think he has Wish, because he has the Charm. And then when you have Wish Protect, then you need an attacking move like Foul Play, in my opinion.
Yeah, unless he doesn't have the Protect.
Let's see what Cornet actually does. What's a good switch in on Mega Audino? If this, for example, if Mega Audino doesn't have a status move, Braviary is actually a pretty good switch in. Fortress can come in as well, because it absolutely walls Mega Audino.
I was thinking about the Fortress, because he can then go for the Gyro Ball, and it does a lot of damage.
I'm actually really surprised by Charm Infernape, or Charm Infernape. Charm Umbreon. Yeah, he goes into the Fortress. So
now,
a likely play.
Do you think Burke would bring a Carmine Audino to the finals?
Yes. I think that there's a possibility. I don't think he wants to run Heal Bell per se, because Cornet is not really known for bringing status moves. Especially on Umbreon, he doesn't really want to bring status moves, since he has to Synchronize. Calm Mind Audino is an option, but then you don't do anything to this Fortress. Like, you can set up to +6, but if this Fortress has like Gyro Ball or Heavy Slam, there's nothing you can do. There's not much.
What if his moveset is Wish, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, and HP Fire?
Is a possibility, but then you don't have the Protect, and that can become an issue, especially against this Bandit Azumarill.
Yeah, because even at +6, the Azumarill still do a lot of damage with the Waterfall.
Yep. Let's actually. I don't know what Infernape set this was, but this looks to me like it was Scarfed or Bandit, either one of the two. I think it was Scarfed.
In my opinion, I think we're just going to see the safe Gyro Ball come out now, and I think Burke is probably just going to switch out.
Yeah, I think either Crocodile or the Infernape, because they can take anything from the Fortress and then retaliate with big fire moves. Like, Crocodile gets Fire Fang, and Burke is not afraid to bring Fire Fang. Of course, the Metagross can come in as well, since we did see the Hidden Power that was super effective on Breloom. It might
How
well
much
be,
damage do you think the Gyro Ball is going to do to the Crocodile, though?
Not
Obviously
that much. I don't think that much. I think he'll switch out if the Crocodile comes in.
Yeah, that would be a good play.
Like, Cornet can't predict the Crocodile coming in and go into Braviary if he has Defiant. The Metagross comes in, that's pretty safe play. Stealth Rocks get set up though. So Thunder is 25%
which hurts his team a lot.
Yep. So in comes the Umbreon. Did Burke make the play and go with an Infernape? Nope. Hidden Power Fire. This Toxic on Umbreon really puts a timer on this thing. Like, if Cornet goes for Charm, he still dies to a close combat from Infernape. So Cornet's in a really tough spot.
Yeah, what do you think the play is going to be?
I think the play is he has to set up Azu for the sweep by lowering this Metagross. He straight goes out into Azumarill.
I don't like that play, because Azumarill doesn't have any form of recovery.
Nope.
Especially with no Citrus Berry Seed now and no leftovers.
Only the wishes are from Umbreon.
He's letting his Azumarill get knocked down very low health.
Yeah, of course, knockoff kills a Metagross. Bandit knockoff. But then the switch in is the obvious Mega Audino. So this is a big turn, I think. Is Cornet going to predict the Mega Audino coming in, make a prediction, anticipate on that play, and maybe swap out into the Umbreon to maybe set up some free wishes. I'm not sure. Or is Cornet gonna stay and make the safe play, go for knockoff, maybe kill the Metagross, because of course the Metagross is a big threat to Cornet's team. But as we kind of talked about Burke's playstyle, he wants to preserve his win condition, and currently Metagross does do a lot.
So obviously, the knockoff is the safe play, the safe play predicting no switch out.
Oh!
Ouch!
Ouch! Yeah, that's a pretty big play. Cornet went for the knockoff, of course, but then dies to the crit Earthquake. This is looking really bad for Cornet currently, because he doesn't have anything to OHKO this Metagross. This is looking really grim.
This Metagross is obviously choiced, isn't it? Because
I don't think it's choiced.
You don't? Because
no,
he would have got the Meteor Mash.
Because he went for Hidden Power Fire. He has Hidden Power Fire, Toxic, Stealth
yeah,
Rocks,
yeah.
and the Earthquake. There's no way he's choiced.
So he just didn't bring a Steel type move.
Yep, or a Psychic type move either.
That crit really hurt though.
That's pretty.
Because Azumarill was obviously his win condition. Well, I don't know. It did a lot of damage to Burke's team.
Azumarill had the possibility to sweep late game, because Crocodile was low. Infernape dies to Aqua Jet. Let's see what the hidden power was. This looks to me like it was HP flying actually.
This Metagross really hurts Cornet's
Then
team.
Knock Punch. Metagross gets another kill with Hidden Power Fire on Breloom. I think he wants to whittle down the Metagross, then go out into Braviary to maybe do something, but it's looking really grim for Cornet at the moment. Of course, Metagross doesn't have anything to hit Braviary, so if it's a Bulk Up Roost set, there is a possibility. Of course, Thundurus can easily revenge kills it.
This is looking really rough.
Oh, he goes for another substitute. Then, oh, that's a good play. Substituting on the Toxic.
Play by Cornet.
Let's see if Cornet is like a setup set. That's a pretty good play. That's might have a chance to save the game, because Blastoise is low. It will die to a Brave Bird, and Audino is also. Yeah, it's not low, but
I think it got Cornet back in the game.
Yeah, so here comes. Wow, that's such a sick play from Burke, because Intimidate doesn't affect the Braviary if it's behind the sub. If it wasn't behind the sub, it would have gotten the Defiant boost, then go to +2.
Yeah.
That is such an insane play by Burke. I'm really surprised. But nevertheless, Braviary gets the kill with the Brave Bird on the Crocodile. That was a really insane play, I think. Going into
I would have liked to see a
Crocodile
bulk up right then from Corn, but obviously...
We don't know if he has bulk up yet.
Yeah.
We don't know. We have to see what it said. Of course, the set Substitute Brave Bird does get kind of walled by Thundurus and Audino as well. But we'll have to see what will happen. Like, Braviary is the win condition for Cornet, and I think he has to let it in. If he doesn't have Roost, it's looking really grim for Cornet. He hasn't shown an item yet, so this might be... well, what could it be? Like a
With
berry?
Umbreon Toxic, I think the best thing that Umbreon can do right now is just pass a wish into Braviary.
For example, if Audino comes in and this thing can't do anything to Audino, then go into Umbreon on like a wish or a protect, then wish pass another wish into the Braviary and see what it can do. Of course, if Infernape goes down, Fortress does do a lot. It can take down the rest of his team if the Fortress is carrying Toxic. Of course, not to the Metagross, but Metagross has no form of recovery. Have we seen an item from the Metagross yet? Actually, I don't think we did.
We have not.
Nope. So, like a berry, like the Oka berry is likely. Like Oka berry Earthquake. Mega Charizard doesn't appreciate that, let's be honest.
Even so, it's not looking too good for Corn right now, because he has only got 3 Mons and Burke has a total of 5.
Yeah, of course. This Braviary does OHKO the Infernape, of course, with Brave Bird. It will kill the Blastoise with the Brave Bird. I don't even know if it will kill the Metagross with the Brave Bird. I can do some calcs. For example, if it's a max attack Brave Bird doesn't kill. It has it does 40%, so it actually is a roll. So in comes Infernape. Yeah, so the safe play is to probably just click Brave Bird, I think. Or go for... He probably goes for Mach Punch. He goes for Close Combat to fade this up. Then the Thundurus will come in. Yeah. This means
so... Braviary will die to Rocks now, so there's no reason to switch it out.
Nope, correct.
So you said once the Infernate went down, it was looking good for Fortress, didn't you?
To some degree, yes. If this thing doesn't have HP Fire, but it is Life Orb. Life Orb Thunderous, so we don't know. Of course, Umbreon and Fortress are really passive. This thing is probably
So
gonna...
he goes into Umbreon.
Yeah, so he sacks off this thing because I think Jarble... I don't know how much Jarble does, but he wants to make sure Thunderous gets another Life Orb hit to make it lower for Fortress to maybe 1v1 it if he doesn't have Hidden Power Fire. If he has Hidden Power Fire, it's a wrap, I think.
Yes, but there is a good chance he'll have... No, he has Grass Knot, so yeah, HP Fire is probable.
So he goes for Volt Switch. Yeah, he goes into Metagross, I think, and then to wall the Fortress. Fortress can only Jarble, and it probably doesn't do anything. Let's see, Fortress, Jarble, I don't think that will do anything to this thing. And if he has HP Fire, then it's a wrap. Yeah, Jarble does 4%.
Ouch.
This looks like a wrap. This is probably HP Fire. It does 80%, solid 80%. Goes for counter. Counter Fortress coming in as well. Yeah.
That looks rough.
There's the HP Fire to wrap up the game. Metagross picking up another kill on the Fortress, and that makes Burke the Season 3 ISL champion. Continuing his championship, won his championship in Season 2 as well. Prolonged his title by 1 season by beating Cornet in the Death Starmies. Like, this was a pretty good battle. Like, Metagross did so much. Like,
that was very well played by Burke and by Korn also. But
the only check to Metagross went down pretty early in the Charizard. Like, that was the only thing that could probably hurt the Metagross. But I have this feeling that the Metagross was Oka Berry. And then Earthquake to kill the Charizard as well. In case things got out of hand.
These Mons very well on his team, including Mons, which he doesn't actually bring that much in the regular season. In the finals, he's brought them very well, including the Metagross, who he's only really brought a couple of times in season, but in the playoffs, he's used them very well. And
correct. I think Metagross got picked up 4 kills. I'm not sure, or 2 kills. Metagross picked up 2 kills, I think. Thunderous picked up 2 kills, and then Crocodile picked up 1 kill as well. Of course, the crit on the Azu was kind of big. The Earthquake crit, that was pretty big. That was a pretty big crit, let's be honest. That was pretty huge. Because if he went for knockoff and then Azu had to stay in, go for a knockoff the entire time, it would have eventually died. But if this Thunderous didn't have HP Fire, then it still had a chance. Fort still had a chance to wall everything, because if he had Toxic, then there was a good chance it could outstall Burke's team. Like, Blessers doesn't do much. It can fish for Scald Burns, but that's pretty much it. Anyways, GG's to Burke. Cornet is still showing up in his first season of the ISL. Yeah, just wraps up Season 3 of the ISL. Hope you guys enjoyed everything we've done this season. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Of course, Season 4 will start in just an hour, because this video will be uploaded Sunday 6 PM. And then the draft for the Beta League is actually 7 PM. Eastern Standard Time, or not Eastern Standard Time, Central European Summer Time. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Blaze, do you have something to say?
No, that was just a very good game, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Later, boys.